Hello everyone, just your average Joe here with another mini musings on the topic of what happened to the romance between Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff, and what if it had continued? In my Incredible Hulk reveal video, I gave a shout out to a subscriber for his thoughtful comment about the MCU Hulk and the potential limitations that could come with continuing the tragic story arc of Bruce Banner in another solo Hulk project. In my reply to his comment, I mentioned that it would have been interesting if the MCU had continued the romance between Hulk and Black Widow, because there was an opportunity there for them both to find some peace. But that got me thinking about the what ifs of the relationship. What would this love story have looked like, and how would it have influenced the events of the Infinity Saga, Phase 4 of the MCU, and what it would have meant for the upcoming Black Widow movie? This is why I love reading your comments. Before we get too deep into this, hit the subscribe button for more videos and extra content. Okay, first we need to get our timelines and history all in order. There's certainly some chemistry between the two going as far back as the first Avengers film. They share this idea of having seen and lived with tragedy, with something inside of them that always seems to be just below the surface, ready and willing to cause death and destruction. This chemistry grows into something more substantial in Age of Ultron, where Natasha takes on a kind of Fay Wray role, soothing the Savage Beast and making the Hulk question whether or not he can accept love. This causes Hulk Banner confusion and angst. Rather than pursuing the relationship with Natasha, he chooses to go off the grid until he pops up again in Thor Ragnarok. Then what happens, you might ask? Well, not much. On the Empire podcast, co-writer of Infinity War, Stephen McFeely, talks a little bit about the Bruce-Natasha relationship. He states, "In Infinity War, we have scenes, we wrote them, we shot them, of them sort of hashing that out. You've been gone, I've moved on, that kind of stuff. So we know that as late as Infinity War, they were still considering the ramifications of this relationship, which gives us some license to play the what-if game. The You've Been Gone, I've Moved On reference seems to be referring to Bruce leaving at the end of Age of Ultron and not showing up again until Ragnarok. However, the Black Widow film does take place between Civil War and Infinity War, so technically they've both been pretty busy dealing with inner demons since the first real sit-down and talk in Age of Ultron. In fact, let's break down this Age of Ultron deleted scene a little bit. This Age of Ultron scene between Natasha and Bruce is actually quite important. It provides us with our only real sort of insight into what's going on with their relationship and why it doesn't move forward. However, there is an extra minute and 5 seconds of deleted footage that did not make it into the theatrical release. Had they kept this deleted part of the scene in, I think it likely would have made it a little more difficult to justify the creation of Professor Hulk later on. The scene proper begins at the 1 hour, 5 minute and 30 second mark of the theatrical release. The deleted part comes after Bruce delivers the line, "So we disappear?" Natasha then walks over to him lovingly and tries to convince him that they can be together. Bruce asks, "And what about the dead?" To this, Natasha replies, "They're dead." Now, this is when Ruffalo to me really comes into his own. There's a complete synthesis of anger, horror, and sadness in his voice as he responds, "Not to me. Not ever." At this point, Natasha realizes that he is somewhere that she can never be. She can never penetrate that level of his suffering, not even with devotional love. Now, this is amazingly tragic. It's ancient Greek tragic. You see, the reason I often make fun of Hipster Hulk and talk about how I'm just not a fan of it is because Professor Hulk does not provide us with anything necessary to the MCU. Banner's sudden ability to reconcile his two halves is unappealing because it's incredibly unhuman. Not inhuman, but unhuman. If the writers had allowed this deleted scene to run its course in the theater, I think you create an impenetrable space, a tragic sphere around Bruce, and I don't think you get Professor Hulk. You don't get this sudden epiphany that the Hulk is not the disease, but the cure. In fact, you can make the argument that it is Bruce who is the disease, because of his unwillingness to accept Natasha's love. Now, let's have a little bit of additional fun here for the moment. Let's pretend like the Banner-Romanoff relationship happens. They're in love, we're happy for them, they believe that when all of this is over, they're going to be together. The first question we need to ask is, does this relationship change the pairing of Barton and Romanoff going after the Soul Stone? Does Black Widow go with Hulk because they're like a power couple now? Probably not. However, if you rewatch the scene between Hawkeye and Black Widow, you can absolutely remove Hawkeye from the equation and slip in Bruce Banner, and the scene still plays out fairly flawlessly. Yes, Natasha makes an allusion to Hawkeye saving her life, but you could have said the same thing had Hulk accepted her love. There's a salvific nature to love that can bring someone out of the depths of despair. Go watch that scene again after watching the Age of Ultron scene. No, wait, don't do that. I just learned that I'm not supposed to send people to other places besides my own videos. Never mind, keep listening. When the video is over, do it. Wait, no, don't do that. Just watch another one of my videos. Oh, crap. The real question is, do we get a different outcome for who actually makes the sacrificial leap for the Soul Stone? Do we end up with Hawkeye taking the plunge? I actually think you might. As it is, Hawkeye fights hard to be the one to sacrifice himself. Is it possible that he fights just a little bit harder, knowing that his good friend is finally in a place of real love? Of real redemption and hope? Besides, we've already seen a potential person to take on the Hawkeye mantle. Barton even calls her Hawkeye at the beginning of the film. It's his daughter, Lila Barton. I think we can say that, at the very least, had the writers left the deleted part in from Age of Ultron, it would have given Black Widow's sacrifice even more depth, something that I think she deserved. It just seems to me like a wasted opportunity to really give her this moment of having been loved and given love with someone who really understood her. I've already said that I also don't think you get Hipster Hulk, or at least I think the road to Hipster Hulk is not quite as easy to get to. Instead, you likely get a happy Banner, a man who is seemingly living a wonderful life, for a brief moment in time, until the sadness and despair come back into his life when it all comes crashing down again through Black Widow's sacrifice. As Captain America dances with Peggy Carter, Banner weeps by the grave of not only his lost love, but his loss of humanity, knowing that his happy ending was nothing more than a beautiful dream. Let's hope that the Black Widow movie gives her the proper send-off that she deserves. Jeez, I think I just depressed myself. Well, if you can see the subscribe button through your tears, please, click it. And consider commenting below and taking part in my film ranking endeavor. As always, thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. I'm just your average Joe with Silver Linings Film and Media Reviews. Have a great day.